It was a great night last night at First Horizon Stadium at WakeMed Soccer Park in Cary, where High School OT Jamboree 2.0 took place after a little bit of a wet, stormy start on Saturday. Thousands came out to watch some high school football action with a lot of great local teams. Joining us to talk a little bit about it and the next coming Jamboree, which is on Friday, is the managing editor of High School OT, Joel Bryant. Good morning, Joel.
Morning, Paul.
A great night last night in Cary. Weather cooperated, and I think we got to finally see that taste of all that talent that this area has been oozing and has been talked about all summer long.
Yeah, it was a nice, clear summer night. We always love those. In terms of the talent, I didn't really see too much of it because I was busy running around and organizing stuff. But I know I heard a lot of good things about some of the top players. I know that Rashad Streets did play, which I was wondering about for Millbrook. He's that 5-star player. Heard he made a couple of big plays, and
he did. He's got a quick step. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he looks the part, doesn't he, Paul?
there's. I was talking about it. Tim Donnelly and Dennis Cox were in here this morning. I was talking to them about the Jamboree last night, and I was like, you can clearly see why some of these guys were the chosen ones, right? The ones that have already earned scholarships and have earned attention. You got a guy like Micah Olu from Wake Forest who's going to Eastern Michigan, and clearly he runs the ball with an efficiency, but also with power at the same time. And you mentioned Streets, who just looks. You just stare at him and you're like, all right, let me see you do something. And within 2 plays, you're like, yep, there's something special. Yeah, absolutely.
I did see Josiah Sturdivant from Wake Forest, who's going to Rutgers. I saw him have a sack one of the times I was walking down there, and he's getting all these SEC offers lately. So maybe he'll flip, or maybe he'll stay with Rutgers. But yeah, you can definitely tell which guys are the guys just by looking at it just pretty quickly.
Yeah, you had Kamari Holloway too going to ECU from Southern Durham out there, and it was interesting to watch kind of how these teams operate in a jamboree format as opposed to games. For example, what surprised me, Southern Durham and Middle Creek opened up the play last night in our 6:00 game, and Middle Creek decided to go kind of no huddle, kind of oop-de-oop, for those who remember the movie Varsity Blues. Is that something that you expect in a jamboree to run an offense that you're used to, and with relative efficiency too? Because we did see, a number of penalties with the officiating crew last night, which, imagine that, penalties in a scrimmage.
Yeah, Middle Creek is generally pretty fast, but especially in a running clock scrimmage, teams like that's going to try to use that to their advantage because they're used to moving fast like that. So I bet they were thinking they were going to get more snaps in. They were probably right. And yeah, so, it's also practice for the refs. It's part of why we do it. And, the refs were very helpful for us. They were rotating in and out. They were collaborating on calls and whatnot. There's a lot of new guys in the picture too, so they're learning from experienced guys. So it was practice for everybody, and we didn't have as many penalties this year as we had last year, so I was kind of happy about that.
Yeah, last year it did feel like there were a lot more flags. Certainly towards the end of the night, as kids got tired and fans got tired, we saw a few more penalties and whatnot. But overall, a really good night of football, a really great venue there at WakeMed Soccer Park in Cary for high school, and for the teams to come out and rally after kind of a delay. It was good to have them out there. So let's talk about now, coming up on Friday. It's the second High School OT Jamboree of the year. This one in conjunction with Wake Forest, which you've had events there before.
Yep.
4 games this time, 8 teams. Who are the 8 teams coming?
Yep, so at 6 o'clock, we have Warren County going against Wilson Prep. Warren County was a 2A East runner-up last year, and Wilson Prep, of course, won the 1A state championship. At 7 o'clock, we have Franklinton and South Johnson. Interesting one in the 6A class. Both have won 8 games last year. 8 o'clock, host Wake Forest is playing Cardinal Gibbons. That's a big-time one. Then 9 o'clock, Garner against Northern Nash, both top 25 teams. And I think Northern Nash, to me, is the favorite to win the 6A state championship this year.
And why so?
Well, they returned their top 7 players on defense, and they returned about 3,000 yards of rushing production from last year. And they won 11 games last year, so that's usually a pretty good sign for us.
There is. Cardinal Gibbons was part of the action last night. They'll run it back again on Friday at Trentini Stadium in Wake Forest. First of all, how can people get tickets? We know that it's not as big as WakeMed Soccer Park. People, if they're going to come out and watch football, probably want to get in line early.
Well, I have heard from Coach Lucas that the pre-sales this one are pretty strong. So the pre-sales are going to be $15, and then the tickets day of are going to be $20. So we do recommend buying your tickets ahead of time. Just save $5 here. Go to HighSchoolOT.com. You'll see the link to buy tickets. You also probably Google Wake Forest HighSchoolOT Jamboree, and it'll show up there. They sell the tickets on GoFan. And yeah, I would recommend getting tickets ahead of time because you also just don't want to be dealing with the gates on the day of.
So let's circle back. Joel Bryant of High School OT Managing Editor joining us here on Next Up. Paul Ihander with you, Max Goren here as well. Let's circle back on Cardinal Gibbons. A team that, comes out, operates with efficiency, clearly feels like a pro-style system. What's the expectation for that team this year?
I mean, they're a top 10 team in the state. I mean, they're just going to be consistent every year. And you hit it on the head there. What makes them, what their superpower is that they're so efficient and just measured in what they do. You don't see them having dumb penalties. You don't see them having alignment issues on the line. There's no pre-snap penalties. They're always very consistent, and they have everything down pat in terms of operations. So they might not be the most talented team in the state, but coaching-wise, they're up there with anybody. And they do have some talent. You saw that sophomore running back, Truth Caesar, last night, Paul.
Yeah, I couldn't stop hearing his name over and over and over again.
Yeah, he's going to be a big-time player, and he's only a sophomore, and we're looking forward to seeing him this year in his full-time role.
Yeah, there's certainly going to be some development things that'll have to be done with some of these younger players. And we did see a lot of them last night, rotate in and rotate out. And that Millbrook Cardinal Gibbons kind of matchup between those two, again, two top 10 teams kind of clashing at each other. But, you can only get so much of a feel for your team this early on. What are coaches trying to accomplish here? Because really the regular season starts in under 3 weeks.
I mean, a lot of this to me is figuring out your depth chart. It's figuring out who are going to be the guys we can rely on to rotate in on Friday nights. You brought up Millbrook there. They didn't have their starting quarterback Bryson Gray, who's going to Mercer. They didn't have their top linebacker Quinn Cipher, the 4-star, going to Ohio State. So I think they're learning about the backups. So if something happens to these guys on a Friday night, like who can we rely on in a pinch to get out there and just kind of keep the level to the best of the ability that we can. So we're trying to find out the depth and just seeing how guys react to the moment as well. It's the first time for a lot of these guys in front of a crowd like that.
So, and again, the same kind of crowd, a little bit more intimate though, coming up this Friday, right? A high school venue, a little bit more traditional with the 8 teams that are coming in. But Wake Forest always puts on a good show, right? We always have a good time there. And last night, I did get to watch a lot of the football. Wake Forest operated surprisingly for me in a jamboree atmosphere. I think they might have been the crispest team out there in terms of play. Is that just coaching, or is that just guys that have just figured out the system and this is more of a veteran team?
It is a veteran team. It's also coaching. That staff's been together for a long time. They've been running that kind of a gun wing system for a while now. And they are very veteran. They have a ton of running backs, as you saw. Their line is veteran this year. The quarterback's still a sophomore, but he got a lot of experience last year as a freshman starter. So this is a team where we're looking at, they're going to be their best they've been since 2019 when they won the state championship, I think.
Wow, that's a deep pull there for kids that, if you talk about 2019, these are kids in grade school who remember their last championship, and maybe it was their brothers or their cousins who were playing on that football team 7 years later. Managing editor of High School OT, Joel Bryant, joining us here. Wake Forest, Trentini Stadium, next High School OT Jamboree. This is Friday night, 6 o'clock, the first game. Final game will be at Nime. Host Wake Forest will be involved in this one. Joel, but we're not the only Jamboree in town, right? There's other Jamborees going on today. You guys are headed out to Greenville for another one.
Yeah, we're going down to J.H. Rose. So they were a team that kind of got messed up by the weather for us on Saturday. They couldn't get their full game in, so we're going to go down to J.H. Rose to give them some coverage. They have a 3-team Jamboree in Greenville there. So myself and Leica, who helps us out, will be down there and give them some coverage.
And J.H. Rose is one of those teams that has expectations as well, right?
Well, and I didn't see it, but everyone tells me that the one drive of the J.H. Rose Rollsville game was pretty impressive for J.H. Rose. I heard they went right down the field on Rollsville. I was busy running around doing logistics stuff, but I heard they looked pretty good in that one drive. So.
We got to make sure we get you a chair in the end zone next time we put one of these on, Joel, so you can actually watch some of these plays. They were very efficient. All right, Friday again, Joel. Where can we get tickets for the Wake Forest High School OT Jamboree?
Yep, HighSchoolOT.com. You'll see the link to buy tickets for the Wake Forest Jamboree August 14th. You could probably Google it as well. It'll be up there. And we'll have that prominently on our website throughout the week as well in case you are having trouble finding it.
You can smell it, right? You can smell it in the air. High school football returning, and the counting stuff just right around the corner. Joel, appreciate you as always.
Yeah, absolutely. Joel
Bryant, managing editor at High School OT. Check out his work and the rest of the team's work at HighSchoolOT.com. And don't forget, you can purchase those tickets as well. HighSchoolOT.com for a Friday night 2026 High School OT Jamboree Part 2. This one at Trentini Stadium in Wake Forest. 8 teams in action, and the action begins at 6 o'clock on Friday.
I'm Max Goren with 3 things you need to know right now from 99.9 The Fan. Head coach Dave Canales said yesterday that many Carolina Panthers stars will play 10 to 20 plays on Saturday in their preseason Week 1 game against Buffalo. Be sure to tune into that game as well as all Panthers games this season on our family station, Mix 101.5. The NBA announced this morning that opening night for the 2026-27 season will be Tuesday, October 20th, featuring a triple header. Celtics versus Pistons at 3 o'clock, Sixers versus Knicks at 7 o'clock, and Thunder versus Spurs at 9:30. The rest of the regular season schedule will be released later this week. The Durham Bulls are a half game back of first place in the second half standings, and tonight they start a series against the Memphis Redbirds at the DBAP. Bulls coverage is available on 620 AM Buzz Sports Radio, 99.9 FM HD2, and WRAL News Plus, with first pitch scheduled for 6:45 p.m. For all the latest news on your favorite teams, download the 99.9 The Fan app or visit 999thefan.com.
So, another what they call a one-of-one has been discovered in the sports and collectible world. On Monday night, so last night, they were doing, and again, card collecting is way different. For those of you who remember card collecting, say, they call it the junk wax era of the late 80s, early 90s. It's even more different from just prior to COVID. Right? It was like, okay, what are we going to do? All right, let's get into Pokemon. All right. Now there's a million card companies. You go to your favorite, hobby store. You go to big box stores. You can go to discount stores. You'll find cards, some sort of sports card or collectible card or whatever. You can collect Disney cards now. You can collect Magic cards. You can collect Pokemon cards, sports cards. Again, I grew up with sports cards. I have a handful of cards still that I hang on to. None are crazy valuable. They have more sentimental value, but I have a few. As do my kids. They have a few. There's a thing called one-of-ones, and it creates a marketplace that is uncomfortable to some. For me, I'm kind of weird about it because it creates kind of artificial demand. But there's a chase for it, and if you're chasing for it, collectors will pay $100, $200, $300 for things like hobby boxes or blister packs or hangers. I mean, this is like the deep part of card collecting. Last night on a live stream, so people are live streaming this stuff, and this is like the secondary kind of business model for a lot of hobby shops and whatnot. They, a group called Rhode Breakers, a division of the baseball cards of Rhode Island retail shop, they open boxes on live streams for clients. They go, hey, you bought this box of cards in a live auction. We're going to open it live for you and see what you got. Well, they were on a stream, and they pulled a Cooper Flagg one-of-one numbered rookie debut patch autograph card. It's got the patch on it. It's there. The reason why it's significant, it was inserted into a pack just last month. And much like the artificial scarcity of it, scarcity was created because, of course, it's just one of one. He wore it during his NBA debut, the former Duke player, former player of the year. The question is, will the person sell it? This was so much in demand, the Dallas Mavericks wanted it first. If someone had given it to him, so this offer is on the table to whoever bought this card, they will get lower-level season tickets for the Mavericks for 32 years. 32 years of lower-level season tickets, okay? A game-worn Flag jersey and signed, and a photo with Cooper Flagg. They also get a road trip to see the Mavericks place Boston face Boston with round-trip airfare and all that stuff. You get a private shoot with some trophies and whatnot, and you get a VIP tour and a private basketball experience.
So what do you value all that at? Because, and I'm reading an article about this card as well, and just for some pricing reference, some will remember the Paul Skeens card, the rare Paul Skeens trading card, last year sold for $1.11 million. The jersey that Cooper Flagg wore, that jersey itself, which honestly I think would be better than getting the card that just has a patch of the jersey. The jersey that he wore in the first half of his NBA debut, that sold for $1 million 6 months ago.
Okay.
So, I mean, in theory, that you would think this card is probably worth about the same price. Is 32 years of season tickets, a signed jersey, and a photo shoot, and like a road trip, is that worth $1 million? And maybe the tickets would be over time, but then you gotta resell tickets for 32 years, man.
Yeah.
If these guys are from Rhode Island, they're not going to that many Mavericks games. Like, just sell it, man. Just sell the card. And I guess if you want to keep it, if you're a collector and that's your jam, then by all means go for it. But I don't really see the point in that. I mean, I guess the flip side is hold on to it and just hope that he continues like getting better and better and becomes like this super mega superstar. And he's averaging like 26. He gets like LeBron averages over his career, like 26, 8, and 8. And I guess the value in theory would go up from there since it's one of one. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's an offer a sports team could make that would make it worth it in this scenario, especially for a bunch of guys that live in Rhode Island, for a team that is in Dallas. It's just not going to be worth it unless they're like courtside seats, and then in which case, like, we can have that conversation.
Premium lower level tickets, roughly for 32 years, would be worth between $400,000 and $500,000. And if that's just factoring in some inflation right now, it's about $10,000 for 2 seats.
Yeah. Well, I learned. I couldn't explain it very well because I think I got a D+ in this class, but I learned in accounting about present and future value of money in school. And the way that math adds up, I'm thinking you'd be better off just going to the open market if you're looking to part with this card at this time. Which, I guess I would want to hold on to it, but you never know. You never know if and no one's rooting for a catastrophic injury or something like that.
No,
but
for sure.
Those kind of things happen. So if you can get $1 million for a piece of cloth and cardboard and whatever else a trading card is made out of, I think you go ahead and you get that payday and you go laughing all the way to the bank.
Cooper Flagg, by the way, when asked about the card when he signed it, he says, I want to do my best and recommended whoever gets it should hold on to it because, quote, it will gain value as I go through my career.
Yeah, I see, and I could definitely see that as well. But when you're already sitting on a trading card,
right, that is
that is worth $1 million. Most people won't make that money in 15 or 20 years. I mean, look, if you're brave, if you got the means to hold on to it and try to get that thing up to $2 million, like, more power to you.
There's someone out there that's going to pay it. You know it too. Someone out there, like we just talked about sports and money with the NBA. Someone out there is going to pay more than $1 million for this card. It'll be great. I mean, it's already, the good news is it's been authenticated. You already know it exists. It's not like it's hidden. It's the kid who found the Paul Skeens. You didn't see it right. Like, this thing it's there. We know it's out there. We know it exists. It's one. Someone will ante up for it. I wouldn't take the trade with the Mavericks unless I lived in Dallas or I was a big Mavericks fan, and I know I have friends who are Mavericks fans. They'd be all over that thing. I agree. I would unload it quickly, but this is where we have come to in trying to create, like, this is like the Declaration of Independence, right? Like, you're looking for historical artifacts. When people look back at planet Earth and collectibles in, 200 years, they're going to go, hey, what was the most momentous thing that, we can see? There's a Cooper Flagg 1-of-1 patch autograph card.